I've perused through it, but I need to read it, really sit down and sink my teeth into it. So I didn't want to discuss about the content, but I wanted to talk about the reaction. You see, governance is done on behalf of other people. So already the reaction is dividing the nation. And we've been here before as a nation. Hi everybody, my name is Angie Murenga. You're watching Just Angie. It's Mwenye Inchi Monday, where we discuss all things governance, and it's the 21st day of December. We have about 10 days to the end of the year, and I wanted to address, without bringing politics into it, the Building Bridges Initiative. There's this report, BBI, which the whole nation is in uproar about. Some positive, some negative. There's all sorts of things going on. I have it in my phone. I've perused through it, but I need to read it, really sit down and sink my teeth into it. So I didn't want to discuss about the content, but I wanted to talk about the reaction. You see, governance is done on behalf of other people. So already the reaction is dividing the nation. And we've been here before as a nation. We've been here before as a nation, and I don't think it's a good place, because we're not supposed to be a divided people. We're supposed to be united, you know. We can conquer more if we and achieve more if we are doing things together. So anything that already serves to divide the nation, I don't think is a good thing. And then when I look at it, when I just look at the situation in the nation, we have a pandemic. It's global. It's not just ours. There's a whole COVID-19 pandemic. There's a virus that's going around, and it's caused a lot of it's impacted people negatively and positively as well. But I would feel that would be the urgency, you know. People don't know where they're going to get school fees for, you know. If people have lost jobs, or their income has been halved, or they don't have the same income, they don't have the same resources, the markets are not as they were before. So everybody is trying to, you know, cut back and do more with less, you know. So I just wonder if we could just put the report aside, you know. There are such pressing issues that everyday Kenyans are going through. They need school fees. They need, how are their children going to go to school? Are they worried about the kind of protection? What do the children need to do? What's going to happen when they go? Do they have masks? You know, that's what we need to do. Then we don't have food. You know, sometimes I feel so bad that we spend money. It's like we allocate money, we apportion money to things that are not important. Because right now there's a mother who just wants to feed her child. There's a family, there's a man who just wants to feed his family. He just wants to make sure that they have food for today. He's not even asking for tomorrow. And those are the people we should be looking at, our hospitals. I mean, it's so, it's so scary to become unwell right now. People are scared to go to the hospitals because there's also the COVID-19 virus. There's the pandemic that's taking place. There's the coronavirus. So we don't go to hospitals. Then there's probably not enough facilities in hospitals. Then you probably don't even have the money to go to this hospital. You don't have the money if this vaccine is coming. There's so many other pressing issues. And I'm sorry to say that, honestly, if leadership and governance is about others, then we as leaders, we have failed the people of this nation. And we need to stop. And I always say, when I point fingers at them, I then point them back at myself. And I say, as I'm pointing them back to you, what are you doing? How are you making life bearable for the people who are around you? You probably have somebody who looks after your house. You have somebody maybe who drives you around. You have somebody else who works in your shops. How are you making life bearable for them? How is there equity and governance in your day-to-day handling of the things that you are doing? Because sometimes I think also as a nation, sometimes I feel like people are angry and they just want to be angry. So there's this thing, and now we all go at it with anger. Even if we haven't understood it, we haven't read it, but we just go with it with anger. It's because we are angry. But we need to stop being angry. And we need to action with what we have, fairness and justice all around us. In our circle of influence, where we have influence, we must do this. We've been talking about gatekeepers. As a gatekeeper, as a leader, as one who has governance over people, what are you doing? How are you making life easier for them? And how do we ensure that we are having the right conversations, that we're addressing the right issues? We're not addressing the retirement and packages for politicians. We're not addressing that. We cannot possibly be addressing that when people are hungry, when it's been almost 60 years of independence and nothing has changed for some. When people took off, they went into spent time away from their normal routine, went into the forest and fought a war. When there was independence, when there was flags and cheering and celebration. And it was short-lived because they went back. I don't use the word to their spoiler. How do I make it better for somebody else? I think it's my challenge. How do I make it better for my community, my scope? Those guys, you can say those guys, they're doing their own thing. We leave them there. We say, how do I make my jurisdiction, my area, my scope of influence? What do I do to make it better? That's my challenge to you this 21st day of December. And there's still time. You see, in this 10-day window until the end of the year, somebody needs help somewhere. And you have the capacity to help them. You know, the other day I was reflecting that Paul was an activist. If you read the book of Paul and read his letters, he was an activist. He was making statements and speaking on behalf of the people. Even before first he became a follower of Christ. Because he was like, these people are going against Judaism, I'm going to deal with them. And he was bold, he was courageous, and then God turned around his life, and then he began to activate, I guess, for Christ and for the kingdom. But we need the activists. We all need each other. We need those who rise up and say something because they're bold and they have a voice or they have the capacity. And then we need those who will start doing wherever they are. You know, Nehemiah rebuilt the wall, and it always amazes me that the wall was even, everyone built near their house, and the wall was rebuilt, the work was done. So if we keep pointing fingers and saying, okay, this has happened, these people, they're wasting our time, we have all sorts of comments, but we do nothing, then nothing will be done. But if each one of us just, takes like a centering point and say, what can I do for my scope of influence? Then we'll have very many people whose scopes of influence will be the people within our scope of influence who will experience change. They'll just experience change. So that's my challenge to you this 21st day of December. Do something for somebody else. Take a retrospective look at yourself as well and see where can I make a change and who can I help in my own personal life and in my scope of influence. God bless you.